All right, welcome back. We're moving on to the arms. So we're going to start with the shoulder plate. This is called a pauldron. Yeah, and this is the style that we're going to be trying to duplicate. This one here is an original. This one dates back to about 1530, and this is what it looks like on the inside. It's I could tell it's not all original. I think the only three pieces here are homogeneous. These other pieces have been replaced over time. It's missing the leather inside and also the slotted rivets. You can see there's slots there, but so whoever retrofitted this, they did it just to put it together. So probably from different suits of armor even. So yeah, this is the version we're going to be doing. This is the right side, so it goes on like this. And we'll be trying to duplicate this one almost exact, except for we'll also be making probably a little shorter version on the right side, because on the suit of armor we're going to be adding a lance rest for the customer. So, but yeah, this is pretty much what we're going to be trying to start with next. And let's go cut out the pieces. All right. So we got a 20 gauge cold rolled steel here. Now I've got my patterns usually in these envelopes, but I've got them right here. So I'm going to try to draw out the big pieces first. This will be the left side. So I want all my markings to be on the inside. So including the holes that have to be drilled. Whether I use them or not, it's just, I can always modify it later. But it gives me the basic placement of everything. As you can kind of see, especially on this particular model, I've done a lot of modifications over the years, and I'll tape over my old marks and add pieces on. I'm always trying to update them as far as, style and function. So, okay, so that's the left side, and then we're going to do the right side too, but we're going to modify the front to be a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it out to the halfway point here. I can always go back if I forget to mark some holes or something. Yeah, because the front on the right side is going to be just a little bit smaller, so instead of doing a whole nother pattern for it, I just put like an option. So this is like an option for the front. Yeah, once we start forming it, it will make more sense. It just looks kind of odd right now. But so we got the left and the right pauldrons, and then we got to draw the top lanes. Got to try to put them in here. I have to do left and right, so I have to put it I always try to use up old pieces if I can. So for the smaller pieces, I always look through scraps. I found some old scraps here. But I can do yeah, the lames on it. I can use up this old scrap pieces. There. Now I just gotta go cut them out. Alright, so now that we get all the pieces sanded, ready to go, it's kind of interesting to see something just made out of flat steel like this, and it's going to turn into some pauldrons, some shoulder pieces. So let's start with the hardest part first. You can see by our markings here, this is going to be the left shoulder. So the whole idea is to try to turn this into a bowl. Basically, it's like a steel bowl. So we're going to be pounding this out. Again, I got my shallow one. These are the three main ones that I use for pretty much anything. That's why I work always on this wooden stump. As you can see, it's pretty beat up. So yeah, we'll be dishing this part out here, and then we'll move on over to the actual top of the shoulder piece right here. And then we just have to remember not to hammer anything here. So basically it's mostly hammered here, and then we sort of fade out. So I'm using my 3-pound. Again, you see me do this before, but I basically start from the outside and work my way in. So mostly it's to avoid all the crinkle or the bends, but no matter what, yeah, you can't really hurt it. You know, just by me doing the initial hammering like this, and I usually hammer in 3 stages. It's like the first one is the initial, basically you're telling the steel where to go, and then you basically start pushing it more the direction that you want to. So, but yeah, just the basic hammering right now is starting to take a little bit of shape here. So just keep at it. You can hear me hitting it a little bit more firm now, so I'm trying to stretch the steel a little bit more. Yeah, I am trying to concentrate here. This is kind of the peak of your shoulder blade. Like, yeah, so we want to concentrate right here, and also right here at the tip of your shoulder. But again, just stay away from that, because when we get to it, I'll tell you how we tackle that problem. So that's kind of what it's looking like right now. Yeah, and it's like I look down here, my eye, and I see I want to have a nice gradual curve, but I do want to concentrate, bring this out a little bit more right here. So again, I'm going to have to sort of push it in. So starting from the outside again, then I'll start stretching it more into the center here. So I'm going to go a little deeper. You know, this is my shallow one, so just a little deeper. This is for extreme stretching, and extreme stretching. But so we're going to go with my stage 2 here. When I talk about planishing, the word is kind of derived from the word plane, which is basically, that was I'm flattening it. Or, you know, when you think of the word plane, yeah, you think flat. So I'm planishing it, or planishing it. Depends on how you want to pronounce it. When we go to the planishing anvil, we'll be able to take all these bumps and stuff out. But what I try to do is, I call it wood planishing, which means you try to take a lot of these crinkles out or these bumps out on wood. So for the shoulders in particular, and sometimes a lot for larger pieces like breastplates, backplates, I do a lot of wood planishing before I go to the anvil and do steel planishing. So yeah, I think I'll go to the steel anvil and do some planishing now. So this is where I spend a lot of time, as I told you guys before. And with you guys out there, you know, kind of following along, yeah, take your time instead of rushing through a project like this. So I remarked it with felt pen again just before because it's slowly getting sort of rubbed off, because we're going to need those lines for chiseling that form out here. So yeah, I'm going to spend lots of time planishing out all the dents and bumps. And you notice I always have a really good light source. I used to like to work with this doing planishing outside too, but yeah, as long as you got a really good light source, you can see all the high ends. And again, you know, you obviously have to make sure this has got a nice smooth hammer here. And it's not about hitting it hard. It's just literally, it's just about, it's almost let the weight of the hammer do the work. Because it's not a lot of, you don't want to stretch the metal. I mean, there's times where we will be doing that in the future. Every once in a while I turn it over to check out my results to see how smooth it is. Yeah, it's looking good. got to keep at it. Another thing you might notice is it's almost like I turn myself into a machine. I'll just keep going like this. So I'll move the piece rather than me chasing it around. It's like this hammer stays in one spot and I sort of move it in. So you'll see, like modern tools, that's kind of what they do. You know, you just move it around, and there's just pneumatic or whatever electric hammer that's hitting down. That's what we're doing, but we're doing it the old-fashioned way, which is I've got more control that way because I can control not only the speed, but also I can tell it when to stop too. But not only the speed, but also the intensity. So I have the variables, the human factor instead of a machine. So I can slightly move around too. Yeah, so I'm just going to spend probably another half hour or something cleaning this all up, and then we'll go to the next stage.